evening class. How are you everyone? I had a long day with your class only today. 10-15 batch, we had PCP, the same subject which I'm going to be taking now. It's a repetition for me. Okay, it's been a very tiring day, long day. I think none of you made it a point to come. For what reasons, I do not know. Tomorrow you'll all come, isn't it? Tomorrow being a FA, I think you'll be coming for the accounts lecture, finance lecture, you will come, all of you, right? So, we're taking Integrative Manager, chapter number 4 or 5 today. I'll try to take only little. I'm not in a good state of mind today because it's too tiring. I'll see what best I can do and then we'll have to wind up, okay? Now, it's my request that you just... how was the exam? Did you all do well in the internals? How was the exam? Did you do the midterm well? Were there any challenges in this subject? Were you in a position to understand? Many people got good marks. Rocha Sigmund is saying he's got 49 out of 50. Very good. 50 out of 50 innovation management. Deshpande Saran. That's good. Good. Nice to hear that from people. Students have done well. I hope it's not a fluke marks. Okay, lovely. Good, Sanjeevani. I don't know why you people didn't turn up today because today was the last section to get here. After this, you're all branching into your own specialization, right? Sanjeevani 48 out of 50. Very good, Sanjeevani. Let me take today's subject. This topic is dancing through complexity, page number 67, chapter 4. Page number 67, chapter 4, okay? I'm not going to stretch myself today because, today I'm really tired. I don't know why this same subject has been kept today for VC because it's a repetition for me. We have done a lot of coverage in the class today, okay? But anyway, since it is there, I'll take it. This particular chapter, Dancing Through Complexity, is talking about one of the key discussions in this, especially in this particular chapter, is about the word complexity. Okay. Now, whenever you see a mess around you, are you comfortable? Whenever you see a mess around you, are you comfortable? There's a table that is full of clutter, or there's an office which is full of mess. How many of us are comfortable with the mess? Right? So nobody seems to be comfortable with mess. People don't like mess, isn't it? It's all very... when mess happens, what happens, Saran? When you see everything messy, what happens to you in your mind? There's a confusion, right? And this confusion leads to what actually? Is it true that everybody is irritating, right? Is it true that everybody feels that the mess is confusion, is an irritation? Is there anybody who feels mess is okay, I can still work in a mess? Is there anybody who feels that mess is okay, I can work in a mess? Anyone? No one? Now, if your table is messy, will you be able to work clearly? If your table is messy, will you be able to work clearly? Many say, now why can't you be clear in spite of the mess being there? What is coming in your way? Is it confusion, irritation? Should the table really be clean? If it's not clean due to some reason and you can't even clean it, what happens to you? It disturbs the mind, Gopal, okay? Why should it disturb you, Gopal? Why should it disturb you? Is the mess disturbing you or is your mind getting disturbed? Is the mess disturbing you or is the mind getting disturbed? Saran says no connection of things. Okay, is that what you think? Okay, guys, someone interact. Shashank Shah, organized things are easy to find. and looks good to see. But do you get the luxury of organized things everywhere, Shashank? Do you get the luxury of things being organized all the time? Do we come across situations where things are not organized? How many of you work in companies where even plans are not clear, strategies are not clear, your KPIs are not clear, your job profiles are not clear? How many of you work in such environment? Anybody? How many of you work in environments where many things are not clear? Often happens, right, Shashank? Now, when it often happens, what do you do? Do you keep quiet? Let us say that, Shashank, you do not have a profile, job profile proper. You're not clear about your job profile. Does it affect you, Shashank? Does it affect you or not? If the job profile is not clear, does it affect you? Yes. But we clarify. Do you, all of you, do you get the clarification? Shashank says, we clarify. Do you all get clarification? How many of you are working in jobs whose profiles are not clear? Nobody? No answers from anybody? My question is the chaos around you creating the trouble, or is it your thinking? Is the chaos around you creating problem? Is it the thinking? What do you think, friends? Hello, can I have some answers? Yeah, that example Shashank is given, mechanically chaos nahi hai. Barobar hai? Now my point is that when you talk about complexity, there are two words I want to write down: chaos and complexity. Chaos and complexity. Write down these two words. A mess is a chaos when it doesn't make sense to me. You write down, a mess is a chaos when it doesn't make sense to me. A mess is a chaos when it doesn't make sense to me. A mess is a complexity. A mess is a complexity. A mess is a complexity when it makes sense to me. When it makes sense to me. When it makes sense to me. Full stop. Full stop. In a complexity, one sees, in a complexity, one sees, SES, one sees the interconnection or the interrelationship. One is the interrelationship. One is the interrelationship of the various components. One sees the interrelationship of the various components that make up the mess. What does it mean? It means that the table is messy, let us say. For one person, the table looks to be a chaos. Another person is not a chaos because he sees it as a complexity. This is the point I wanted to understand. Complexity is in your mind. You can create a complexity out of any situation. Because in life, you don't get things very clear all the time. Like your job profile, for example, it is not very clear to many of you. But when it is not clear to many of you, you do not seek clarity. You do not seek a clarity. Or you do not want to know whether this is it or this is not it. You do not see the connections of the various things given to you as a job profile. And when you don't see the connections, what happens? It becomes chaotic for you. You can't handle it, and then you feel stressed out. Am I right or wrong? You can't work properly. Sarang says right. Omkar says you can't work properly. Sarang says it's right. Correct? And it's something which most of us go through, right? Now, my point is, if you pause, when you see a mess, first thing that comes to you, you're upset. And the whole world tells you clean up a mess. Nothing wrong about it. But while cleaning up the mess, if your head is cluttered, if your mind is confused, that clean table doesn't make a sense to me. Are you with me? Are you understanding what I'm saying? If the mind is cluttered, but the table is clean, it doesn't serve the purpose. Clean table doesn't serve the purpose if my mind is cluttered. Rather, it should be the other way around. Can I have a clean mind? Can I have a mind which is free of clutter? That's the question. Because when the mind is free of clutter, I can see anything around with the clarity. The clarity is not coming from the table to me. The clarity is going from the mind to the table. Do you realize this or not? You may take a book, you may do all marking, you may make it simple, you may give short forms for various topics, but at the end of it, if you are not able to remember it with clarity, all that thing is useless. Do you realize it, friends? So to be understanding this thing, one has to know one important thing, that a clarity is something which happens in your eyes. When you see the connection, there's a table right now here. I've got my specs case. I've got the Integrative Manager textbook here. There's a copier. So many things are lying here. If I see the connection of all the line, then it is complexity for me. If I don't see connection, it will become like a chaos. It will disturb me. Seeing connections is equal to bringing clarity. When you see connections, you get the clarity. And that is exactly what we are talking about in this chapter, dancing with the complexity. That means when things appear to be messy, I look at it as complexity. I know there are connections between the various components and I can find the connections. It doesn't disturb me, it makes me creative. It makes me innovative. Okay. Now, this particular creativity is possible only when you are in a position. So this is what we need to understand. Dancing with complexity is about how the integrative manager, how the integrative thinker is able to tolerate chaos, accept chaos, and convert chaos into clarity by his thinking process. Actually, most of you are doing it, but you must recognize it. Because all of you will agree that nothing comes clear. Nothing comes with clear. You have to make it clear from our side. Okay? Now, the clarity comes first in the mind and then on the table. I've seen I clean my table only when I'm clean in my mind. Because when the mind is not clear, my table, whatever clarity I do, I'll forget where I kept what. Okay, so this is one thing, please understand, this chapter is talking about it. Now there are two more topics in this chapter. One is the topic called specialization and the other one is called as simplification. Two words, please make a note of it. Simplification versus specialization. Simplification and specialization. Now this are two terms which we come across. What is simplification? Any idea? What is simplification? Mansoor Malla, we are going through chapter number 4. Just started. What is meant by simplification? Can anybody tell me what is when do we simplify things? When is there a need to simplify? Come on, let me have some people interacting. What are you sleeping for? Yogesh, Sandeep, Yashesh, Sanjeevani, Varun, there are so many students. Sarang is saying we try to make the work manageable as per our perception. Okay, very good, Sarang. Pasati Matre, try to understand them better. Okay. Samadhan is saying that it is not in simplified manner. Okay. So in a simplification, what are we doing? We are actually breaking it up into small manageable pieces. A very big thing is given to us, a huge area is given. Now, for example, the entire hybrid course is for 2 years and it has got number of subjects and number of activities. The one thing is, can be chaotic if I look at it directly. When you look at it as a complexity, I am looking at the entire course. It is made simplified by having 4 semesters. Each semester has got X number of subjects. Each subject is again simplified by index and chapter distribution. Now, all these things are basically examples of simplification, wherein from a large picture, I make it break up into small manageable units. Simplification is breadth, B-R-E-A-D-H, breadth. It spans on this area. I can have simplified version, all simplified around me, one simplification, second, third, fourth, and so on and so forth. Now, what is specialization? Specialization means I'm going into the depth. In specialization, I'm going to the depth of some topic. I could specialize in molecular biology, some research, I can go deeper and deeper and deeper and do a PhD. Now, specialization and simplification, what is the relevance in this chapter? The chapter relevance is very simple. When something is specialized, I'm going to the very, very minutest detail and doing research. Now, when I'm doing a specialization, what is my mindset? Does it think of anything else other than the research or not? What do you think? When I'm into specialization, does my mind stay with the specialization totally or not? What do you think? Let's stay with the specialization or not? My mind is constantly thinking about something. I'm going deeper and deeper into the thinking. Do I think of anything else? Do I think of anything else? For example, a medical doctor is specializing in surgery. He's doing MS surgery for 2 years and he's becoming a specialist in that area. Now, will this medical doctor think about anything else except his surgery area or not? What do you think? He will study only surgery, correct? Now, what happens is, he's expert, he's a specialist in one area of medicine, which is surgery. Now, integrative thinking means what? While you're specialized, you must know that your specialization is a part of a whole, H-O-L-E. Make a note of it. You need to realize that my specialization is a part of the whole, W-H-O-L-E. I should not get isolated. That is very important. Because many times when you're specialized, you get isolated totally. You're not in touch with what is going on before and after your specialization is concerned. This is one fall. So what the author is saying is, whenever you specialize, which is important, it is not that it's not unimportant, it's very much important. This specialization should be seen by the specialist from the broader angle. The surgeon should realize that the patient may have common cold which needs treatment. The surgeon must realize the larger picture and the health of the patient and his history. Right? So when I see the larger picture of the job that I'm doing as a specialist, that is coming under integrative thinker's mind. Am I coming out clear to all of you? Is it clear? Right? Now we come to the next one, which is specialization, which is simplification. When I'm simplifying something, what happens? I make it so very manageable, and I only manage that. I become very complacent. और simplifying करते करते क्या होता है? I don't see the larger picture. Specialization is depth. Simplification is breadth. Remember that. In any integrative thinker's mind, there's a combination of breadth and depth. While they look at simplifying everything with the context, larger context, they also seek the specialization of each and every simplified component. Are you all getting it, friends, now? So now take it further. This particular Dancing Through Complexity chapter, we are called Shaping Resolution by Resisting Simplification. What is resolution? It comes after salience, causality, architecture, and resolution. It's the final outcome of all efforts we have put in and the results that come. Now, if I have to get a proper resolution of a task which I have taken up, then I need to understand that I should not get into oversimplification. I must simplify with relevance to what I want. Now, if this is done, then you'll find that the specialization has got some, simplification has got some importance of identity. Okay. Now, this is an important aspect of the of interpretive thinkers thinking. And now, what are the plus points about specialization? Any idea? What's the plus point about specialization? And what are the negative points of specialization? Okay, career studies is a positive of specialization. What is the negative? I tend to get, you become a master. And what is the negative? Only on one point I'll be sticking. Okay, right. So I become a nerd. I'm only into that area. I don't know other things other than that. Now this is one isolated in technology, correct? Ahuja. Now this is what happens to these people. And so there's a need for them to understand that simplification and specialization both have to come together. When both come together, then it so happens that and then they have to see the larger picture in everything that they do. That becomes integrative thinking. Now there is an example about a lady called Martha Graham. It's in page 69. In 1916, Martha Graham graduated from the Kumnock University in California, US, and to join the Denishon School of Dance in the atmosphere of great artistic ferment. At that point of time, the artistic dance, music, etc. was going a very bad patch. People were not very much interested in a lot of things which people were into. They were not really giving much of attendance in these concerts. Dance, like painting and literature, was casting off the rigid conventions of the 19th century, and the handful of artists were pioneering the style that would come to be known as modernism. Graham threw herself into the modern dance movement. What she did was, if you take a typical traditional dance, how many of you watch traditional dancing? Kuchipudi, Bharatnatyam, and this Kathak and all. How many of you watch pure classical dancing? Have you seen pure classical dancing, or have you heard pure classical music? Only ragas and all that. If you do that, what is it that you experience? What is it that you experience? Let us say you take a very old Bhimsen Joshi's song, total classical. It runs for 1 hour, 1.5 hours on certain rag. You're listening to it. What are the thoughts that come to an ordinary man? What are the thoughts that come to an ordinary man? Concentration is the most important thing in such a dance. That is what you're thinking, Sanjeevani, outside. But you are the audience, and there's a classical music going on. What happened to you? Vasanti says, I'll go to present environment and peace of mind. Okay. Sanjeevani says, in such a dance, like in the Kathak. So, all of you feel that you will understand the dance. Do you really feel you understand the dance? The dance is being danced. There are some movements of the legs, hands, etc. Now, is it something which a common man will understand? No. So do you find common men attending all these concerts of big, very good classical concerts? Do they come for that? Do they come for these concerts? No, right? Now, these concerts, these songs are really rich in content. They're coming from ancient Sanskrit or Hindi or whatever it comes from. Very rich. Only a few people are in that, right? So what is a good art, a good classical music gets lost because the common man don't understand it. Right? Now, how about making that particular song in a manner in which the common man takes it? Today we have pure song and we have a remix, isn't it? The remix is drawing more and more people towards the song, original song. Original song must be something Kati Patang ka kuch karega, or remix will be a Kati Patang remix, that particular song. But this Kati Patang remix is done in such a way it's something that is customized for the customer taste. So what really happens is this is what happened for dance in US in 1916. It was pure dance. It was a very high quality dance, but very few people understood what's going on. Martha Graham said that, look, let's make this dance modern dance. Let us not keep the original format, which is very rigid. They said it should be done only this way. Even now, if you go to certain parts of India, interiors where you'll find it in villages and all, they say that Kathak should be done only this way. Bharatanatyam should be done this way only. Everything is got a type of a flow. It should be practiced at any cost. A discipline. This is what they would say. Fair enough. Discipline is important. This is a case of specialization. Right? Now, Martha Graham said that, look, we could have more audience enjoying the essence of what is being danced if only we make it a little easy to understand. For example, the decor of the whole stage, can you make it a little modern? Can you put some sculptures here and there, some paintings? Can you do that? Can you make the whole dance or the singing with subtitles so that people understand the essence of it? Can we give them something different? It was a question. Now this is something that Martha Graham talked about, and she said, I'm going to break the convention and I'm going to come out with modern dance in which all the classical songs will be sung or they'll be played on an instrument, and then everybody will be able to listen to it because we'll be making the whole thing what is called as contemporary. Make it contemporary. जब contemporary का मतलब क्या है? जो अभी का लोग, for example, अभी remix जो है, remix is contemporary for the youngsters today. Same song 50 years back, 40 years back, what we heard was the original song. That time the audience was happy with that. They found that was the most important thing. Today's audience finds remix is good, so they like remix. Remix is doing a big job. Okay. Now this aspect of mixing different arts, the art of dancing with the art of sculpturing, with the art of casting behind all the background, this is integrative thinking which Martha Graham brought about a major revolution in the dance form by bringing in what is called as modernism or modern dance. This is a story about her. Okay. Now, I've spoken about specialization. I've spoken about simplification. Now there is one more case study in this, in page number 73. It is called as designing a ride, not a rail car. Designing a ride, not a rail car. Now there's a company called IDEO. Okay, it's not Gujarati idea. IDEO China, IDEO nathi. It is about idea. Idea nahi, it is IDEO, capitals mein hai. Now this IDEO, the company that was into industrial design. Okay, they were in industrial design and they had what are called as Renaissance teams. Renaissance means it's about Renaissance is the period in history wherein all the various arts came together. Singing, painting, poetry, everything came together. It's an intersection point wherein all the various arts and disciplines came together for the benefit of mankind. So they have Renaissance teams in IDEO, which brings about integration of many things together. So they were given a project of the famous Amtrak. The Amtrak is supposed to be one of the most competitive railroads in US. Amtrak. Now this Amtrak was going through some competitive issues, So they came to IDEO and said, can you redesign it in such a way that our business comes back? So what did IDEO do? IDEO was headed by Tim Brown. And what did he do? He said that let's do one thing. Let's map the whole experience of travel in a train, a typical metro type of a train. So from that time, he put 10 steps. Look at page number 74. He put 10 steps, 10 distinct steps that happen as a total experience. He says, I don't want to give just a railroad ride. It should be a total experience from start to finish. So he said that learning is the first stage. When I learn that I need to travel and I need to travel by Amtrak, that's the first stage. Planning, starting, entering, ticketing, waiting, boarding, riding, arriving, continuing. Now all the steps. Take the case of our metro in Mumbai. We have Ghatkopar station and the last station is Versova. Now when you enter Ghatkopar station at the metro level, you should feel the luxury of the travel with the train. Which of the, let me give the whole steps. First is I'm entering the platform. I buy a ticket. After buying a ticket, I go to the, I'm entering the station first. I'm walking up or I'm going by the escalator. I go to the ticket counter and buy the ticket. Then I pass by the staircase or I go by the lift and then I try to swipe the ticket through the turnstile and I enter the station. In the station, I'm standing in a queue till the train comes and they make us go inside and the train closes. And the train travels towards Versova. At Versova, the train stops, the doors open, you come down, you walk on the platform, come down to the main road, to the road, and then you're going home. Now, in a travel like this, which is the most pleasurable part of the travel? Tell me. Which is the travel which you will be enjoying in all these parts? Is it the ticketing? Is it going up the escalator? It's a ride, isn't it? All of it, like it's an AC ride, isn't it? It's a ride. Now the ride part of it के लिए उसके पहले वाला, उसके बाद में वाला, should they also be the same experience or not? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Hello? It should be the same. I'll give an example. I went to metro station. I went to Ghatkopar metro station some months back. I went to buy a ticket. The ticket counter lady was talking like a अपना VT CST का जो terminals में जो बात करते हैं ऐसा. And she was very rude and rough. Now, metro is designed with a certain sophistication. The sophistication starts from the way this lady talks to customers like us. Are you with me? Now, that is the total experience I talked about. From the time you buy the tickets till you get down in the destination station, the entire experience should be integrated with each other. Now, this lady is looking at her job as a specialized job in isolation of the whole journey. Are you all understanding this? She has to look at her job as a customer service, because when she is proper to us, it is the whole metro that is proper to us. That is the impression we'll be carrying. So every bit, every part of the whole metro experience should be seen in the larger in short. The simplified parts and the specialized parts. The simplification is what the whole journey is made into parts. That's the simplification. सिंप्लीफिकेशन में क्या होता है, और रेल कार का जो लाइफ है वो एकदम चंगा है, इट्स वेरी गुड. उसके पहले और उसके बाद में not much of weightage is given. Now this entire experience in Amtrak is what IDEO designed. They said from learning first step till continuing last step, everything shall be properly researched and detailed, and we must make it in such a way that it becomes a total experience, not just a railroad travel. Does it not happen when you go to some shopping mall, they talk about experience? The experience of being there should be very petty so that you'll be able to shop. They play music. There are some offers in some restaurants. There are offers on the floor of the cloth shop. in the shopping mall. All these things are happening, right? Now the idea is at the end of the day, everything is properly researched and they are all integrated together. So this is a case of this particular company, okay, and that's how they got the whole the integration happening for this company called this SLA. The customer is SLA. That's how it happened, right? Now this is a case of that. Second case that is given in the book is page number 75. Moses Neimer and City TV. Moses Neimer and City TV. Now what is it all about? It's about a local TV called City TV. Imagine a place like Matunga where Wellington is located. We have a local TV only for Matunga. Who will be watching predominantly the Matunga residents? What programs will be beamed? All the Matunga programs that are happening here. If they choose to, they may even beam saying that right now VC is going on in Wellington. They may even say that. So in short, everything about Matunga will be beamed. The TRP ratings will be very high because the viewership is all local. Matunga people will be watching it and you'll find that the channel gets very popular. The channel gets very popular. Now when the channel gets popular, then it is successful, what happens? There's a tendency for the larger channel to come and gulp it. They'll buy it out. When the channel is localized, it is only getting local public. The awareness for the local people about the other parts is missed out. Now to make the thing happen together, we need to integrate. Now if I do not integrate, my small private channel catering to a small area like Matunga will eventually perish. If I give it away to a bigger giant like CBC or somebody, then they will buy it out and then the localization will be lost. Now this integration which you brought about is called as globalization, given in page number 76 as a tag there. Think global and act local. Think global and act local. And that is what he did, Neimer. Neimer brought up the integration of two thoughts. One is the CTTV should be successful locally as before, involving local participation. At the same time, it should be the part of the larger picture when it should be a player in the whole country. So that people from other places are also able to see our channels and also our people. It could have been bought over by some other big channel. It could have gone down. It could have gone down over a period of time and completely washed off. But he saw to it that it was preserved. Not only preserved, it became one of the most successful channels in Canada. Okay, this is a case of Neimer. Now this chapter is covering these topics which I just talked about, and with this it ends. This is chapter number 4. If you have any questions, you can come across after 5 minutes, after 2-3 minutes, I'll take the mapping the mind, chapter number 5. Okay? Do you have any questions, friends? I'll give you a pause for some time. If you have any questions, you can even come on the channel. Okay? I'll give a pause. Well, guys, let's start now. Yogesh Patel is asking, what is 80-20 rule? 80-20 rule, Yogesh, is all about what is called the Pareto principle. Pareto principle naam ka cheez hai. It means that 80% of the problems in the city is created by 20% of the people. 20% of the solutions will be brought about by 80% of the problems. There's an 80-20 relation in anything that is having cause and effect. जो है ना उसमें 80-20 का relationship. There was a famous guy called Pareto who created this 80-20 principle, and it is an observed rule. Wherever you see anything, if you notice, all the lafra, 80% of the lafra is done by 20% of the taporis in a city like Mumbai. So it's only a small group of people who influence the majority of the outcome. That is what is 80-20 principle. It has got applications in various areas, Yogesh. Okay? Even in this chapter, is it? Yogesh? Which page? Which page is it? Which page by Yogesh here? 80-20. Now what it means is, Yogesh, it says the famous 80-20 rule can lead to a solution but not a creative solution. 80-20 में हम लोग क्या करते हैं? We say 80% of the problems, 80% of the problems are created by 20% of the of the inputs. Now when I do that, I'm giving a solution by handling only 20% of the inputs. That is not creative, that is run of the mill. Creative में क्या करना पड़ता है? 80-20 का वो contest करने का वो बोलते इसके is only 80-20 something more than that. In reality, 80-20 does not give you a creative resolution. It gives you just a resolution. Creative का मतलब क्या है? I must have different ways from where I can get it. That's what it means by creative. Okay. Now let me take the example at the end of this dancing to complexity. This example is a group of friends go for a picnic. They may feel having coffee at any time. They may not find a cafe at some places at any time. A thoughtful salience, one should have multiple salience, would make them realize multiple options, causality, and paths to fulfill their need. They would carry tea bags, instant coffee, thermos flasks with hot water, sugar, milk powder, and condensed milk sachets, stirrers, and cups. Architecture. Their resolution would thus entail them to have tea or coffee anywhere at any time. Are you seeing this? A simple thing like this, uska activity ka breakup jo hai, that is what is giving clearly what is causality, what is salience, what is architecture, and what is resolution. A simple one. Now, it is possible in spite of all this, they may find the hot water getting consumed faster with the tea and coffee consumption being higher. The materials may get used to give, materials may be used up to give 0 balance. This would remind them that they should consider carrying one more thermos flask or locate a place pre-planned where they would refill the requirements. This is a refining of the integrated process steps. You redefine the salience, you get newer causalities, you draw a more robust architecture, and you arrive at a new resolution. It's a constant dynamic process. The process is continuous one of refining better ways of doing things by integrating the elements that matter. This is what it is all about, right? Now, this particular chapter is actually talking about the importance of understanding complexity as different from chaos. Sequential resolution, Snehal, means if I do something and produces result, resolution is all about action and results. Resolution is all about action and results in the SEAR. So what I do, the balkanization, there's now that particular page, one second, I'll come to the page. Page number 72. Now, let me explain with an example. You are studying for the exams. How many subjects do you have? How many subjects do you have for exams? Just say 5 subjects. 5 are correct. Now these 5 subjects you are studying, is each one a specialized subject or not? Correct? Does each of the subject have simplification in the form of chapters or not? We break it up now. Yes? All of us understand this, we break up, right? Now, when I go sequentially, what is sequentially? Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, Chapter 5, Chapter 6. Sequentially. I can study sequentially. I can study parallelly. That means what? I take little of subject A, subject B, subject C, subject D. This is what is parallel. Are you with me? Who asked this question? Sneha, are you with me? Right? Now, sequential resolution का मतलब क्या है? Now, what is balkanization, fragmentation of the business? It means when I am doing the subject one by one chapter. Suppose I'm taking this integrative manager, I'm taking the chapter one by one. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4. Is this a creative way of teaching? Snehal? Is this creative? Taking it sequentially one after the other? Yes, you are right. It is not sequential. Sequential is not, no. Vasanti, it is not creative. I am doing it based on chapters. तुम लोग को एग्जाम में इस हिसाब से जाने का है. In the classroom today, Mohini, you were there in the classroom today. Did I teach sequentially? No. Now the understanding in the classroom, Mohini, is different from what I'm doing here. Now, here I am going by the chapters sequentially, but in the chapters sequentially, I'm adding on some other masala. Otherwise, it will become fragmented. Fragmented का मतलब क्या है? एक chapter तो solution में पता चलेगा, उसका connection second और third में पता नहीं चलेगा. That is sequential. Snehal, are you getting it now? हाँ? बाल्कनाइजेशन का मतलब क्या है? फ्रैगमेंट करने का. बाल्कनी नाम का एक जगह था रशिया में, तो उधर उसको छोटा छोटा बांट दिया, फिर उसको पूरा तोड़ डाला. मतलब that area, that's how the adjective has come. Balkanization, that particular name has come. Balkanization, fragmentation of the business. Now, what really happens is the purpose of that telling you that is very important. That you must understand whether I take it sequentially or I take it parallelly. If I take specialized or I take only simplification. These two are being done for so many years by so many companies in so many occasions. When we do that by default, not deliberately, the business starts getting fragmented. Fragmented का मतलब क्या है? Connection दिखाई नहीं देते अंदर के अंदर, क्योंकि बड़ा पिक्चर कोई दिखता नहीं है. मतलब ये है, imagine vertical axis में about number of verticals, each of them is parallel. Then we have sequential in each of the vertical, one after the other. Now both of them have to mix and match. If they don't match, then there's a problem. Are you with me? Snehal, is it clear to you? You asked this question, I'm replying to you. In the classroom, this question did not come today, but it has come to you. It's benefited people like Mohini and all who have been in the class, who was also here. Okay? That is what is balkanization. Now, I'll go to the next chapter called Mapping the Mind. Mapping the mind. Okay? Now this chapter, I wanted to write three things, one below the other. On the top you write SCAR. First line is SCAR. What is SCAR? Salience, causality, salience, causality, architecture and resolution. After writing SCAR dash, this is a framework or approach or theory of integrative management. Framework, approach or theory of integrative management. Written down, framework, approach or theory of integrative management. Now what are we doing in this subject? We are learning integrative management, which everybody can practice. उसका एक approach चाहिए, एक theory चाहिए. Theory SCAR देता है. Second line, leave a line and write down the second one. Next point, second point. S T E, capital S, capital T, capital E, capital. Now what is STE? STE is in SCAR, salience, causality, architecture and resolution. The starting point is where salience. What is salience? Salience means I give importance. Where does the giving importance start? It starts from the thinking. It starts from the thinking. Right? Now this thinking is salience. Now theory tells you think के कारण causality होता है, causality के कारण architecture, architecture के कारण resolution होता है. Now we are going one step deeper. ये thinking को मुझे पहचानना है. ये thinking क्यों होती है? ऐसा क्यों होता है? I'm going to single working hypothesis, multiple working hypothesis. Single working hypothesis क्या है? Single working hypothesis means I'm making only one assumption. I am rigid. I am not flexible. Multiple working hypothesis means I am flexible but making assumptions. More assumptions, more flexibility, more choices. More choices, quick change in action if things go wrong. Right? Now when salience is starting point, salience matters. I want to convert from single salience to multiple salience. I must, in the thinking process itself, I must have multiple ways of doing it. At the beginning. So what we're doing is, now draw a circle around SCA or S, only S. Draw a circle around S and point the arrow towards the next one, STE. STE. From salience S comes STE. From salience S comes STE. Now what is STE? STE tells me how I think. Thinking creates salience, right? STE tells me how I think. S stands for stance. It's there in the book. S stands for stance. T stands for tools. And E stands for experience. Stance, tools, and experience. So salience is coming because of my STE. Salience is coming. I give importance to something because of the way I understand. The tools I employ for thinking and the action, out of which I get an outcome, which is an experience. I take a stance. I take a position. I make up my mind to do something. That is stance. तय किया, निर्णय करायचा. मैं तय किया कि मैं ये करने वाला है. Stance. That stance puts me in a certain thinking process and action. Tools. And as a result, I'm getting an outcome, result, and experiences. So salience का starting point क्या है? Stance. And that is what we're trying to do. Stance के कारण क्या होता है? Because I take this stance, this position, I get this experience. Now that experience is telling me that it's not okay. So I need to go back and ask what thinking process and action I did for getting this not okay, not so okay results. What thinking process and action I took, tools which brought about this particular not a good result. I get some answer. Why did it think like this and why did it act upon it? Because of the stance I took. A father says to the daughter, stance, if you get married to a boy of your choice, I'll throw you out of the house. Hindi picture. Or she falls in love with the guy from outside. The father takes a stance. Let me see how you get married. He creates tools, think, action. DDLJ में देखा ना लोग ने अमरीश पुरी करता है. So he takes thoughts and actions in such a way that he will see to it that she will not marry him. And what is the experience that comes? He beats up that boy. He does so many things to the boy that at the end of it, his stance brings about the experience. Now that experience, if he is regretful, why did I beat him up? He's beating him up. If he regrets, he will ask himself a question, why, what made me do the actions and thinking? Then he goes back and says, that's because I took a rigid stance. Single working hypothesis. If he had taken a flexible stance, then what would have happened? He would have not thought and acted in the way he acted brutally with that boy. Then the experience would have been something different. Now this stance is taken rigid. This rigid stance, which gives you total experience, is gets embedded into the salience in the first step. मेरा rigidity जो है ना, वो salience के अंदर घुस जाएगा. Whether I am talking to my daughter, whether I'm talking to my junior in the company or whether I'm talking to my student or anybody. That part of it is to be very clearly understood. The way I think, the stance I take in life makes me use the tools of thinking and action. It gives me an experience. If the experience is not in line with my expectations and my goal, then I have to go backwards. What thinking, what actions made me achieve this experience and goal? Then when I go backwards from actions, tools, I realize, oh my God, I've taken such a stance. So stance, your perception about life is stance. Your perception about yourself and the world is stance. Third line you write down. First line you wrote down SEAR. You circle S and from there you do STE. I've explained STE now. And while I'm explaining STE, I said stance. Stance is what? Stance is a perception I take about myself and about the world. The third step, what we're doing, we talk about what stance we take about self to be an integrative thinker and what stance we take about the world to be an integrative thinker. I repeat, the stance I take is divided into two parts. The stance I have about myself, the view I have of myself, my self-concept, what is the self-talk going in me, and the stance I have about the world. These two are important. They are covered in the next chapter, in chapter number 6. Chapter number 6, if you look at it, is giving you the 3 views you have about the world, which makes you an integrative thinker. 3 views you have about yourself, which makes you an integrative thinker. When both these things come together, you find yourself getting into negative thinking. That will take you to a stance, which is much more multifaceted, which has more choices, leading to more choices tools, leading to more choices experience and actions. This multifaceted stance takes you to a salience, first step, wherein you're open to so many saliences, and then your resolution and all will come out very productively well, as per your expectations. I hope you have all got it. Only 3 steps are there in the whole book, if you look at it. SEAR is first one. Second is STE. And the third one is what I'm going to be explaining in the next VC. I'm taking this chapter and stopping because I'm too tired now. We have totally 5 chapters to do. I'm taking 2 today. Another 3 I'll be taking next VC. Okay. So now, have you got the whatever I told you till now? Ultimately, where is the starting point of you being a strategic integrative manager? The starting point is the 6 sentences you have to tell yourself. Today, I explained in the class. There are 6 sentences you have to tell yourself. 3 sentences about yourself. These are called as affirmations, beliefs inside you. And 3 sentences about the world, again, beliefs inside you. If these 3 beliefs are constantly told by you to yourself internally, you will find that your thinking process changes. Many positive changes happen. As a consequence of that, you will find that you are slowly becoming an integrated thinker and action person. Okay? Am I coming out clear on this? This is the framework of the integrative management. Now I want to take the mapping the mind in a little more detailed way. So just give me about 5 minutes. I'll come back to you. Chalo guys, let's take I'm taking a little bit of rest because it's been a tiring day. Okay guys. There is some, Girish Kulkarni has written a very long message. Let me read it out. It is experience that VCF lectures on Thursdays and especially on Fridays are a bit difficult to attend. The reason being generally employees or even bosses are lethargic during the whole week towards completion of the assigned tasks. And once the weekend arrives like Thursday or Fridays, everybody is in a hurry to not extend for the next week. Hence, at times, working employees are compelled to sit back and complete tasks. Due to this, there is a possibility many times to lose the whole VCF lecture or miss a major part of the VCF lecture. Okay. Hence, for effective implementation of the lecture, wherein a lot of efforts have been put by the respected faculty members, it is requested that the VCF lecture should be scheduled either midweek or start of the week, but not for sure at the tail end of the week. Please do one thing, cut paste this thing, send a mail to the office, because I am not able to do anything. You have a point in your own way, but we are holding lectures midweek. Are you aware of it, Girish? There are 4 faculties and we have lectures on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It is not Friday alone. We do have lectures. There are times when your class lecture may be on a Wednesday, not on a Friday. Girish, are you aware of it? You must have attended the semester 1 lectures. You are not aware of it. That's why. You're talking in isolation. Which company you work for, Girish, if I'm not inquisitive? Senior position, very senior position. And this phenomenon you're talking about is not common with everyone else. It may be in your company perhaps. But regardless of that, please do send a note to the management, send them this request, and they will manage it, because this is a typical admin thing on which I have no control. Okay? Good you had voiced it, but do copy paste it and put it as a mail to the management. Take care of it. Don't worry. Okay? It's not difficult for people to attend. Many people attend. Right now, more than about 40 students are attending. They're all there. Have you not been coming for the earlier lectures, Girish? Is this the first time you're there? Yeah, but then find some time, because most people have got challenges of attending. Today I am going through a major challenge, Girish. You know that? Since 9 o'clock, I've been having personal contact programs in the same class, your class only. 9 to 6. Continuously 2 subjects, innovation and integration. I finished. I'm repeating the subject right now. I mean, Girish. Tomorrow I have to come back. Okay, don't worry. It's okay. Your point is noted, Girish. Kar lega kuch. Ab jara likho. If you're coming for the PCP, did you come for the PCP? No, you didn't. No. You must take a day off when you're doing a PCP program. You must come. It's really good. No, virtual class alone doesn't serve the purpose, Girish. You can ask any student from your class who has attended PCP. Is enriching, more enriching. Here I am restricted to time. I have to go by a format. There it is not so. We have got a lot of free flowing there, Girish. You should have attended workshops. I mean, this personal contact program. It was really good. Moini was there. She's written that PCP was fantastic. But now that time is over, Girish. Just after second semester, there is no PCP for you all. You're into specialization group and all those things. You know, there's a lot of things that are there. So take care of it. Don't worry, Girish. All the best. All the best. So it's difficult challenging for most of us, because I have to drag myself today because of this. This VC should not have been there today, but I'm doing it. Okay. Now, chapter number 6, I'm sorry, is chapter number 5. I'm taking mapping the mind. Mapping the mind. Now, in mapping the mind, we go through the STE path. And I'll explain to you in as detail as possible. Page number 83. S stands for stance. When a cricketer is standing at a pitch, he creates a stance. You know that the position he takes, the angle at which the bat is kept, that's a stance. Now the stance, does it have a correlation on the shot he's hitting or not? Does it have a correlation? If I am standing in a particular stance at the pitch and there's a ball coming to me, will my stance have a bearing on the direction of the ball or not? What do you think? Can I have some answers? मैं पिच पे खड़ा है और मैंने एक एंगल पे खड़ा है. You have seen cricketers standing in the angle ना? एक स्टैंड से बैट के एंगल मेरा बॉडी के एंगल में है और यूं खड़ा हूं मैं. तो जो आने वाला बॉल है उसको मैं हिट करूंगा. क्या मेरा स्टैंड का वो हिट के साथ कुछ कनेक्शन है या नहीं है? आपको क्या लगता है? Agreed? So stance is a position I take. The perception which makes me feel that the ball is going to come this way. The perception by which I feel that I'm going to get a swing, I'm going to get a swing or off spin, whatever. वो perception में अपने आप को खड़ा हूँ जाके. Now this is my perception. Stand the perception. I'm taking a position. The ball is coming, so I think and act in the direction of where I think I'm going to hit a shot. That is tools. Thinking and acting is a tools. ST. Experience is I'm getting caught, or I hit a 4, or I just take a 2 runs, or I'm not run out. Depending upon what experience, I get a feedback to myself. मैंने कैसे thought बना? What was the action? What was my thoughts behind the action? Then I go back and ask, which stance of mine made me hit the ball like this and not like that? I'm giving you an example to understand, okay? So, as a result or an outcome, you come back and analyze the outcome का क्यों हुआ? क्योंकि मैं इस action में और इस सोच विचार में था. इस action और सोच विचार में क्यों किया? Because I took such a stance. Right? Now, stance is who you are and what you are after. Stance means who you are and what you're after. तुम्हें क्या चाहिए? Who are you? That is what is it that do you know yourself? That is what stance talks about. And I've written in the note in the book 18, page number 83. Stance is at the top of your knowledge food chain. Stance means knowledge food chain means my personal knowledge system. Do I know myself? Do I know how I think? Do I know how I think? Food chain means when you want to buy food, there are steps at which you can take the food chain. Okay, now food chain is not about stores. Now, when I am doing some task, there's a chain of thoughts that take me to the task. Now, my stance decides how the rest of my journey is going to be. Right? Now, if you define who you are in the world and what you're trying to accomplish, stance is how you see the world around you, but also how you see yourself in that world. This is covered in chapter number 6. Stance is how you see the world around you, but it's also how you see yourself in the world. Underline this particular line, page number 83, bullet point number 3. Have you all got it? Page number 83, bullet point number 3. Stance is how you see the world. Stance is how you see yourself in the world. Got it? All of you got it? Okay, you got it, all of you? Thank you. Now, there is always more than one way to succeed in any given situation. Is it true or not? There is always more than one way to succeed in a given situation. Yes or no? Yes. So this is, but success rarely comes at the first attempt. Do you agree? Success rarely comes at the first attempt. Among the most troublesome complications in this world are the other people in it, such as customers. Customers are not always right. Customers lie or they are wrong. This is what Bob Young talked about. Who's Bob Young? Bob Young is a person of the red hat, which we spoke about in chapter number 1. Right? It's the world where the smartest people don't always have the best ideas. Do you realize it? The so-called smart people do not come out with the best ideas. in a shop floor, in a production unit, the best ideas come from the workers. Those who have been in production will come to know. The man who looks so unassuming, who doesn't look smart, who doesn't act smart, who doesn't know smartness in language and dressing, he comes with the brilliant ideas. If the world's problems are so complex that they defeat even smart guys, it's no wonder that there are so many mediocre organizations. Now, what is smart? Smart means we say that uska IQ level itna hai, wo bahut intelligent hai, he knows how to topi lagao people and get things done. This is considered to be smartness with people. Am I right or wrong? Jitna tu shana banta hai, jitna you show that you're a smart guy, it's a projection, not a reality. People do that. And those guys are considered to be smart and they run organizations which turn out to be not smart, they are mediocre, average organizations. Sooner business people admit to this truth, they realize it, and sooner the organization can improve. If they're fooling themselves saying that these are the smarties, it doesn't happen because the results show. But when they admit, yes, there's something more than that you require, then they will go take it further. So don't think you're any good and don't get defensive about it. It's not something to be embarrassed by because the odds are no one else is any good either. That's a big secret, which means nobody is smart, nobody is dumb. The guy who shows he's smart, in some areas he's dumb, he doesn't show it, but it shows in the results that he produces. Is it not true in life? The people, nobody is smart, nobody is dumb. People have a combination of smart and dumb. So if my projection is only smart, people get carried away, and the results of what do come out to be mediocre, it means I am not that smart. Instead of admitting that I have parts of me which are smart, parts of me not smart, people keep on putting the illusion, deception, saying that my shana hai. That's a problem, right? Once you know that you're not any good, it motivates you to just get a little better tomorrow. And tomorrow you decide to get a better day after day, which means you should not be complacent. People, when they achieve success, many times the success is outsiders' perception about your actions. Do you know that? There are two words, success and satisfaction. Have you heard this? Outsiders, they interpret your actions as success and they give you some awards. Is it true or not? Be honest. There are some methods by which they evaluate you. तो शाना लोग क्या करते हैं? इन्वर्टेड कॉमा शाना लोग वो जो मेथड्स है वो मेथड्स के अंदर फिट इन हो जाता है एक बिहेवियर के थ्रू. अपने को शाना समझ के वो लोग आगे आगे बढ़ते हैं. सब लोग बोलते हैं कि बहुत सक्सेसफुल आदमी है. The whole is giving a पुरस्कार. And those guys are also sinking companies. Nobody wants to admit that. Why? Because they're not into a pressure of performance. They feel complacent. They're just sitting idle. अच्छा मैं सब मिल गया. अंदर खोखा है लेकिन बहुत आवाज करता है. Such people are many in industry. एक दो नहीं है, बहुत है. Don't worry about criticism because you're not any good. So criticism is valid. So even if the world is seeing you successful, you know. Tell me one thing. If you keep your hand on heart, do you know how successful you are or not? Tell me. You keep a hand on your heart. It is you who's the best judge about whether you're successful or not the world. And many times it is paradox. You feel miserable and the world thinks you're successful. How many of you go through this experience? You feel miserable but the world thinks you're successful. Does it happen to some of you? Hello? होता ही नहीं है. पुरस्कार मिलता है, वाहवाह मिलता है. But you don't feel good about yourself. I mean, for me that is not success. For me satisfaction comes. Satisfaction इधर है. अगर दिल में satisfaction है वही success है मेरे लिए. उसके बाद में तुम ताली बजाओ या मैं जूता फेंक, I don't care. Because I know I'm delivering things to you. You're getting the picture? And money is not the only motivator. It's given very clearly. This is something which many of you are trapped into. बड़ा पैसा दिया, तेरे को कंपनी खरीद लिया और तू कुछ मीडियोकर काम करते तेरे को पुरस्कार भी मिलता है. Okay? You need a drive to accomplish something in the world. And Bob Young said that one of the fundamental beliefs is I want to create value. It's more important to me to create value than to make money. Now, this appears to be very odd. Now, when I create value means what am I doing? I'm giving you something which is substantial, which is useful to you. Will I get money or not? What do you think? If I add value, will I get money? If I add value to you, will I get money? Will you pay me good money if I add value to your life? Now what people are doing, what organizations are doing, they are focusing on money as a goal. And validation guy डब्बे में खाली बोलता है we are giving a value service, कुछ नहीं मिलता है. The excessive emphasis on money as a goal is incorrect because it takes you away from value, it takes you away from hard work to improve yourself. You become complicit. And that is where companies and individuals go wrong. There are people who are obsessed about money all the time. Nothing wrong about making money. I make money, everybody makes money. But that money is not a goal, by the way. Money is not a goal. I think I mentioned it in one of the lectures. Money cannot be a goal. Money is an outcome of an attitude. Money is an outcome of an attitude. When the attitude is there, the money will come. But if you make money as a goal, you'll get into tremendous stress in life. Okay? This is one of the experiences which I'm narrating to you. That's all. Okay, now next is patience. When combined with learning, motivation is more powerful problem solving than sheer intellect. You can overcome dumbness with motivation. Do you know that if a person is dumb, usko motivate karega, he accomplishes miracles. Have you seen a movie called Forrest Gump? Anybody seen this movie called Forrest Gump? It's an English movie in which Tom Hanks is playing the role of a very dumb guy. He's of a low IQ. Now this guy, what he does is, people think he's a laddu. Or हमारा society में is a फालतू society अपना. Anybody who's not very smart and intelligent, who doesn't talk intelligent, we try to put him down. But this guy is given motivation by his girlfriend and his mother. And he does things which anybody will not even imagine of doing. He does so many things in his life. In that movie, they show awesome movie. Got an award. I've shown it in many movie learning sessions over here. And this is something which is really punch. It says that it's not enough for you to be smart looking. Even a dumb person, I can motivate, he'll produce results. Right? Next is patience. Patience is a key virtue along with determination not to jump the conclusion. You've got to pause when somebody's talking. He may not be impressive. He may not use good words and vocabulary, but you pause. Now these are all lessons in stance I'm talking now. STE, ऐसा मैं अभी discuss करता हूँ. Patience allows us to wait, reserve judgment and build up data. So many people react. Hardly you say something, पट करके jump करेगा. Pause करो. Patience रखो. श्रद्धा सबूरी बोलते हैं ना, patience रखो. When you make patience, you start hearing becomes listening. When you listen, you are able to comprehend or perceive things which you never thought of comprehending before. When I listen to you, I'm respecting you. Do you know that? When I hear you, I'm only interested in getting the sounds. After that, I say whatever it is, pura badbad karega. And most people are doing this. Patience prevents you from action until you have mastered what you need to know to carry out your intentions. So patience is a virtue. Patience is something which is the part of your stance cultivation. You must cultivate your stance patience. One of the core assumptions is given here, don't do anything you do not understand. How many of you, be honest, do things at your workplace which you do not understand? Today I see 9 out of 10 people are doing work which they do not understand. How many of you are doing this? Be honest. How many of you are handling functions which you do not understand? It has been told you are doing something. How many of you do not know the core of why you are doing what you are doing? No answers. Nobody is coming forward. Do you realize that practically everybody I come across, practically everybody is doing some activity, but they do not know why they are doing it. They don't ask questions if it is incomplete. When they ask questions to their bosses, they themselves do not know. They say, shut up. उसके ऊपर shut up बोलते हैं. ऐसा करके सब लोग क्या करते हैं? Everybody like all working. Nobody has got a focus in what direction they are going. And that becomes a very, very important becomes a very, very important stumbling block for you in your life. You lose clarity. Even I believe in this. If I do not understand something, I don't do it. First, I try to understand it. Otherwise, शाना बन के हो मेरे को सब कुछ मालूम है, मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, हो सकता है. Like a fool. If you enter, you'll screw up everything, including your environment. और इसको पूरे फालतू जिगर है. Unnecessarily, people get into something like a bravado just to impress somebody, और कुछ नहीं होता, खुद का चुपर बन के छोड़ता है. Such fools are many today, unfortunately, and they are always in a rush. They don't have patience. That is an important virtue in sense. Bob Young engages this world as a motivated and a patient learner. But suffering is impulse to go on the defensive. When somebody tells you something, what is the first reaction? You go on the defensive. So Bob Young has to subdue his go defensive. He has to go defensive. And by coming to improve every day, he can develop a better understanding of a confusing, complex world in pursuit of the highest goal to create value for the world. Today I was giving the example in the classroom. How many of you can go to the Bhaji market, the most chaotic place, stand there patiently, watch what's going on, a place where you hate to be, just stand there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, what will happen to you? After 15 minutes, what will happen to you? Imagine that. Come on. What will happen to you? Would anybody like to try it? Has anybody tried it? 15 minutes, you're standing in the very noisy, irritating place in the vegetable market. 15 minutes. What happens after that to you? What will happen? Come on, tell me. Asif Qureshi says, I'll come out with irritation. Wow. Kumar Swarup is saying, I'll have a headache. Vasanti says, I'll get irritated. Wow. Who is? Saran says, I feel like going home. Preeti Chaudhary says, I'll get frustrated. Observer how they sell. Deepak Taral says, observer how they sell. Okay? Meaning what? Observer. I didn't get your English is, I'm not understanding. You'll observe how they sell. Is that what you mean, Deepak? Okay, fine. All of you are almost agreeing and imagining because your thinking says anything chaotic is irritating. तेरे को 15 मिनट रखेगा तो headache आएगा, vomiting आएगा, तो भाग जाएगा. This is what all of you are convinced about. Everybody. Kumar Swarup, Asif Qureshi, Vasanti, Sarang, all are saying the same thing. Now this is not the way an integrative thinker says. If you're there for 15 minutes in a chaotic place and you're silent and patient, what will happen? You will start suddenly seeing that in this so-called chaotic place, there is order. There is a system in which it operates. Do you know that? Do you know that? Have you ever been? कभी सोचा है, सुना है? Anybody stays in Ghatkopar? Khawgalli? You have seen those places which are all these busy looking, chaotic places. You think there is no system in them? Hello? Don't think like a management student, think like a leader. Anybody thinks ऐसा रहेगा तो ऐसा रहेगा, ये एक limited thinking है. You really want to know what systematic working is going on? Go and stand for 15-20 minutes, half an hour in a busy Bhaji market, and you'll see so much amount of system is going on. You'll be baffled. You'll be baffled. The way the masala wala comes and picks up the things. The time is coming, dropping it. He gives him some money. That fellow takes something. All that is system or not. But it doesn't fit into your system of thinking, unfortunately. That's why you reject people. They have clarity here. Do you all realize it today while I'm talking to you? They have clarity here. Do you understand? The bhaiya who's selling vegetables, he has a clarity here. Yes or no, Deepak? Then, oh, he said, does he, has he gone to Pujari sir's lecture to attend finance lectures? Tell me. तुम लोग फाइनेंस का अटेंड करके तुम लोग स्ट्रगल करते हैं एग्जाम के लिए, वो भाजी वाला नया है क्या? बोलो, बनिया का दुकान में जाओ, आइटम्स, he doesn't use calculator, ऐड करके देगा, क्लैरिटी इधर है, क्लैरिटी इधर है, पेपर में नहीं है। बनिया का दुकान क्लीन किया, बनिया का दुकान केवल भी है क्लियर है, बताओ। You go to your shopping mall, जिधर सब दाल को स्टैक करके रखा है, शैम्पू को स्टैक करके रखा है, अच्छा है, nothing wrong about it, everything is okay, but that first use a calculator when you go to the machine to pay your money, वो मिस्टेक करते हैं नहीं वो लोग। बिग बस में कितना टाइम मिस्टेक किया मेरा मालूम है? Hello, I'm not blaming them, I'm not saying they're wrong, don't take a wrong signal. My point is that if there's clarity here, everything falls in place. So I want you to take an exercise. I don't know how many of you will do it because you're saying it is very irritated, I can't go to the marketplace, etc., etc. एक बार जाओ, आधा घंटा बिताओ उधर, just go and spend half an hour watching, don't do anything, just watch. एक कोने में खड़ा रहो और watch करो. When you watch, you know what happens? All the irritation will go away, and then you'll see clarity. एक sandwich वाला, एक डोसा वाला, एक पीछे कुल्फी वाला, all these people, everything is looks like a mess from far, and they are making noise. They are not like your nice companies, good cabins where everybody talks so softly. वो नहीं है, लेकिन वो लोग धंधा करते हैं, वो लोग के अंदर सिस्टम है, उधर का मैनेजमेंट है, उधर का मैनेजमेंट कैसे है मालूम है? That management which actually works, because there is no scope for error. That's how they operate, the roadside businessmen, right? I want you to learn this thing. This is something which many students don't learn. For my full-time students, I give this project. I tell them, go to Baju Market in Matuka. Learn this and come. Then they come back with rich inputs. Say, sir, we never thought of it. I said, now onwards, when you see chaotic conditions, don't run away. A leader doesn't run away from a chaotic situation. He stands there and he makes it into a clarity. That is his job. That's your job as a management student. Okay. Asif Qureshi, they did it after long experience, but doing PGTM, we acquired knowledge in no. Asif, तुम लोग short experience के बाद भी तुम लोग को देखने ढूंढते नहीं है. You guys are not winning it. You still want to say that clarity ऐसा मांगता है, ऐसा नहीं है. जाके देखो पहले. Vasanti, sir, is it because they are used to such situation? It is not about using such a, see, Vasanti, they are having a goal. You don't have a goal. That's why they are not much. उनको मालूम है कि सवेरे उठ के मुझे धंधा करना पड़ेगा. ये मुझे this have to माल बेचना पड़ेगा. वो लोग पैसा is not a motive for them. If I don't sell माल, customers will not come back to me. Do you know that? बेल वाला आपको बेल का क्वालिटी देते हैं कि you go to the bail, does he give quality or not? For him, quality is important or wrong? You tell me honestly. उसके पास 6 sigma है क्या? नहीं है. 6 sigma इधर है. He gives you quality. इधर ही शरबत वाला है. Now new fellows come here, Velikar, on the way to the station. That gives you quality शरबत. All different mixes he gives you. Because he is asking a customer, सब बरोबर है कि नहीं है? One customer says बरोबर नहीं. He quit away, give another one free of cost. तो तेरा उड़पी का दुकान नहीं देगा तेरे को. Because Udupi is focusing on money, not on value. These people give you value. I'm trying to make you understand. I'm not saying anything against Udupi. Don't take it wrongly. I'm only trying to tell you that we reject certain things just because it's not into our thinking. ये thinking को पहले clear करो, फिर उसमें दिखेगा तुमको सोना दिखेगा. Which food is clean? The one on the roads and the restaurants. What's your perception? Hello? Asif Qureshi बोलते both. Restaurant is supposed to be clean, Vasanti. Deepak also says restaurant. Omkar says both. I want to have dosa. मेरे को रोड साइड में रहेगा गरम सामने बना के देने के नहीं है. I go to a restaurant. How am I sure that it is a fresh dosa? My point is learn to think out of box. Innovative management यही हम लोग ने क्लास में बोला. Learn to think out of box. Some people say ची छू Roadside, roadside, I'm not saying roadside is clean, huh? Don't take a wrong signal. I wanted to think of possibility thinking. सबने गर्मा गर्म बना के देता है. It's hot. Could it be good? Think about it. Don't condemn it. Don't praise it. What you are doing is you are taking stands. नहीं ऐसा ही है. When I ask you a question, 15 मिनट अगर मैं भाजी मार्केट में रिकत क्या होगा? People are saying I'm getting headache. अरे जरा पॉज करो, जाके एक्सपीरियंस करो, जाके देखो कैसा है. Right? In many restaurants, if you go to the restaurant kitchen backside, go and see how dirty it is. You go and see how filthy it is. I'm not saying it's bad. Don't take a wrong signal. Again, I'm telling you. I'm just giving you a discussion. You have to ponder. Okay? Now, please get this very clear. My point of telling you all these things is to understand that stance has to be multiple. Right? Now, we have to understand one thing. Don't close your eyes to experience, in short. Don't say, ye ganda hai, wo अच्छा hai, wo barobar hai, yes, ऐसा मत करो. Keep your open experience. Who knows? If you go for trekking, if you go to cross country or something, you'll know what I'm talking. When you go to trek, you're having limited thing on your backpack. That time you start learning things. You know, Asadi was asking a question. Is it because they are used to, because they are used to that? The answer is yes and no. जब नौबत आएगी ना, that's the time you'll understand people. When you're living in comfortable homes, when you're having comfortable jobs, you can afford this. But suppose you are exposed to that only for some time, then you'll see that it is not what I thought it to be. It is something different. ये thought process तुम लोगों को create करने का as managers in everything that you do. I'm not saying go and eat in the roads. No. I'm not saying restaurants are bad. No, I'm not saying that either. I'm only talking about the thought process which we have. I hope all of you are getting what I'm saying. That part of it I want you to understand. Okay. Now, stance has both. Stance has got two things. Sorry. My personality, that is my unique element, the unique person, individual element. Page number 84 I'm reading. It also has shared cultural and communal aspects. The influence about the society around me on me and also my own thinking. The religion to which I belong will say, don't eat this. I say, I want to eat it. Out of the two, whichever is stronger, I'll do that. If my individual unique element says, I want to eat it, it's stronger, then I eat it. If my reason says, don't eat it, then I'll take a stance where my individual choice will be left out. This is not as happening in God, tell me honestly. Religious influence, cultural influence, all these things, all nonsense is going on around you. And many of you don't think for yourself. You think in terms of your religion, you think in terms of your society, you think in terms of your family, all those things are going on. See, remember one thing, all those things are a very important part of life. But when it comes to your stance, when you want to add more value to mankind, then you must be able to think clearly about yourself. Stance should be made on your thinking. There are cultural issues and communal aspects also, no doubt. But you must know how to separate them from your individual thinking. A true profession does that. A true profession does that. Okay? We have given the example of Bobbian, which I'm not taking. I'm going to the next page, page number 85. Page number 85. Tools. Knocking the world into shape. That's something. 5.3. Okay? Once again, hello. Hey. Kiran Thorwat. Same like Bhaji Market. If we see busy bus stand, we see many buses parked in a particular location that sometimes looks messy. Each driver knows which bus is going on at what time, and they really manage to park the park and work in well less place just because they have their own systems, rules by which they manage. Beautiful. Kiran, very good. Very good. It happens in ST buses. You know, when I go from Dada to Panvel, the ST bus driver looks he doesn't look like the way we want him to look. Have you seen any ST bus going through any accident? वो कैसा चलाते देखा है? वो he runs like a crazy guy, but he's so clear and he does it so well. It's a quick run from here to Panvel for me when I go. Right? Now, yes, Kiran, superb you have written. It's a fact. We see the best, but you know what the hell you're doing. That's important, na? And we'll ask him, तेरे पास ये है कि वो है कि कुछ नहीं है. मेरे पास super computer इधर है. This is enough. This has got not TVs and GBs. It's got some God knows what megabytes into that. That is something we don't use. Right? Good guys. Good, very good thinking. So tools is knocking the world into shape. So one step down in your personal knowledge system are the tools that you use to organize your thinking and understand your world. Right? Use stands guides you what tools you select and accumulate. Tools range from formal theories, underline this, page number 85, second bullet point, formal theories to established processes to rules of thumb. This is what the tools are all about, right? Bob Young's tool set is free of any formal theories. The fact that Young's tool is devoid of any formal, we won't talk about Bob Young, we'll talk about generic about everything, right? Now, remember one thing, it's not enough to have a degree. It's enough to have the degree to transform you into a good thinking process. If you're doing this distance learning, you get 90%, I'm not impressed. Out of the distance learning with 35 students are listening to me right now. Class में today 50 students भी नहीं था. और 50 students में अगर transformation हुआ तो बहुत बड़ी बात है. Transformation comes through how whatever bug we are doing, are you putting it into practice? Are you seeing the changes? Are you getting the results and coming back to us and say, sir, it doesn't work. Let me, sir, अब मेरे को समझ नहीं बराबर काम नहीं होता है. These are things which you have to come and tell us. Very few students do this, very frankly. Transformation has to happen with education. Then my tools of thinking will be different. He's mentioned here, consider widely before making decisions. Now, consider widely doesn't mean go and ask everybody to everything, but you must know what is going on. There is a view about a certain person. Everybody says, "Ye aadmi acha nahi hai." Now, can you consult more people who think that he's a good guy? How many of you will do that? Somebody says that X is bad. Number of people are saying X is bad. And these number of people are in your sphere of influence. Can you go and see some people who say he's a good guy? How many of us do that? Tell me. Because when you see both sides, then only take a proper managerial decision. Do you realize it? Is it not true? That is the point you need to understand. Tarun Mandir has read a book called Go Fish. Tarun, I have done a book review on this years ago. Okay. Where the manager goes to fish market and was impressed by the liveliness, energy flowing, in spite of the, read this book, Go Fish. There's a book called Fish. Okay, you guys can read this. Tarun has given this indication here. Thank you. Okay, so basically now about the tools. Tools is the way I think, and the way I think is based on the stance I take. I've given you some tips about how the stance has to be. If you really want to have a very good outcome of your thinking, then you better have a stance, which is the way we describe patience, etc., etc. Now comes experience, where stance and tools meet the world. Stance and tools meet the world. Your experience forms your most practical and tangible knowledge. My experience is ultimately what matters to me, not what you say. This is again a very funny thing that happens with people. I'm eating some dish and I'm having a stomach upset. There are 5 people around me. They're eating the same dish, same item. उनको stomach upset नहीं होता है. I'm going through an experience of stomach upset. I go and tell the restaurant owner, I tell my friends, I've got a stomach upset. You know what they'll do? जाएगा तेरे को. हम लोगों को कुछ हुआ नहीं, तेरे को क्यों हुआ? We believe in the stupid democratic numbers. If 10 people are walking on their hands, not on their legs, they expect the 11th person also to walk on the hand. They'll say he's a fool, he walks on legs. We believe that. We don't pause to say that he's walking on legs, let him walk on legs. There must be a reason why he's walking on legs. Neither the person walking on legs will ever say that these people are walking on hands. There must be a method in their hands. Those people who are able to think in these terms, nothing will shock them. Don't we do that? Don't we do that? See, your experience is your experience. Do you realize it? The man who carries a basket, he knows the load. Have you heard this expression? The man who carries a basket, only he knows the load. तू कितना टाइम लगाता है? मेरे को टाइम लगता है because that's the way I'm thinking. That's what I'm doing. So the moment you start accepting these things about people, do you know what happens? When you accept things about each other, what happens? What's the magic? Any guess? If Omkar is doing things his way, which I do not approve ordinarily, I leave him alone. I said, fine. Moini is doing her things. Tarun is doing, what happens? Their comfort level and what else? What else happens? Have you tried it any time? Every time we're disputing others who are not like us, we notice this. Everybody is disputing somebody who's not like you. We try to change the person, bend him, twist him, turn him, everything. Don't we do this? Karta hi nahi, bolo. Now, by doing that, what are you gaining? That person will work under control conditions. Creativity बाहर नहीं आएगा. और जितना कम था उतना करके भाग जाएगा. नुकसान क्या है? Who's the loss? You, the organization. Can you say आदमी मिलता नहीं है? Good people are not there. I said, are you good to get a good person? I asked this to a manager. उसको बुरा लगा. Not get good people. He said, are you good? I asked him. Sir, ऐसा क्या बोलता है वेंकट? मैं पूछता तेरे को, are you good? He wanted some software engineer at a very senior level. He said, hey, I'm not getting paid. Who told you you're not getting paid? I said, look at the attitude of your company and the way you're operating. Said, do you know to retain people? I asked him. Said, that's a company policy. As a company policy, naam goli mat dena. You're a manager. You know very well that the company policy is not okay. Can you do something to change it? Can you address it? None of you will understand what I'm talking. I know. The point is that do you have the guts to send the clarity of thought? Do you know to convert the clarity of thought into action? Because if you don't convert it into action, you know what happens? The thought vanishes and you start becoming like other baboons. This is what people are doing today in corporate world. Do you know that? Okay. So next is experience. The experiences you accumulate are the product of your stands and tools which guide you towards some and away from others. Now, stands and tools for business executives. Stands is a great model builder, and tools are quantitative models. Stands is a great model builder. Stands tells you what thought processes have gone to make this particular product come out. Tools are the quantifiers. Tools will tell me through this what I can do, what measurement I can take, and other things, because they are the ones that calibrate my thoughts, right? And for the people person, stance is getting customers open up. I take a stance that I'm going to make people open up. I'm a salesman, or maybe an HR person. Tools are in-home visits. I use in-home visits to get people open up, customers open up. For a business executive, through quantitative models, he knows to build a great model for the company. Okay? Experience for the business executive, from analysis of survey results in office, for the people person who are talking to customers. So what I'm giving you is the equivalent of stands and tools for a business person and for a people person. How do you measure it? That's what I've given here. Okay. Now, going to the next page number 87. Going to the next page number 87. Experience sharpens. Experience sharpens sensitivity, underline that, and underline skill. Sensitivity means what? When I keep on taking lectures with you, experience, it sharpens what? It sharpens my sensitivity. The capacity to make distinctions between conditions that are similar but not exactly the same. Today, VC is going on. I've done the VC before also with you. I draw a distinction between today's my mood and my tiredness and my mood on other days when I'm not so. I draw sensitivity that some students are interacting and some students are not interacting. Out of that complete list of 34, 37 students there, hardly 5 or 6 are interacting. Of them, the rest of them, are they watching? Are they listening? Are they at all on, or are they one for dinner just putting on the thing? We do not know. We do not know. Okay? I do not know sitting here. So I have the sensitivity to know through the experience that this is, if you are only listening more, Shweta more, why don't you participate? Listening, I do not know whether you are listening when you don't come on the channel. Chat is there, channel is there, people don't come here. This is one, what do you call it? I have this thing against students who are just listening. Only listening doesn't make you integrative thinker. Again, you've got to interact. Look at all these people, Tarun, Omar, everybody is interacting. For every 5 or 6 people who are interacting, there are only, the most of it are just sitting and watching the tamasha. I call it tamasha because in this there is no learning. Sorry to say this. You may not like what I'm saying. I'll give you names. People are not even coming forward. Sandeep Pujar, I don't see you. Yashesh Joshi is not to be seen. Okay. Who will say? Rosha Signal doesn't come. Suresh Manvarkar, are you listening? I don't even know. Now these are things, why it is coming out of concern for you. तुम इनके इंटरेक्ट करो, मेरा ईगो के लिए नहीं, तुम्हारे लिए खुद के लिए करने का. Okay, these are the people who don't come. They're just listening. What are they learning? Because एक तो distance है, distance में interact भी नहीं करेगा और distance बन जाएगा. It's a problem. Okay, okay, that's your choice. Second is skill. Experience sharpens sensitivity and skill. Skill is the capacity to carry on an activity in a consistent so that you produce great results. So through experiences, more and more experience, I develop sensitivity that is towards human beings and to the work I do. I start growing in. I see the distinction between good work and bad work. Attentive students and non-attentive students. Involved people and not involved people. Because experience teaches me a lot. Experience teaches all of us a lot. I also develop the skill to improve upon what I do in a better way day after day, day after day, day after day. Correct? So sensitivities and skills tend to grow and deepen together. And as you repeat a task, you are inclined to build what you learned from the previous repetition until you develop a consistent technique. If you do it every day, you start developing a certain way of doing it, which becomes consistent. And as you repeat a task, you learn to make finer and distinction between levels of quality so that an experienced chef can tell almost by instinct when the steak is blur or it is red. Or he can use a different dish altogether. He can tell whether a particular vegetable is cooked or not cooked by just looking at it. It will not happen. Look at your mother, look at your grandmother. Just by looking, by getting the smell of the food, she say it is properly cooked or not. You know that? Experience. Right? And inward experience. Experience मतलब 15 साल करेगा बोल के नहीं आएगा. 15 साल में inward होना चाहिए. There are some stupid fellows who are working in organizations 15 साल 20 साल में काम करते हैं लेकिन बुद्ध गुरु है. Experience doesn't mean number of years. It is about in the number of years how much environment you come through. That is your experience. Okay. So it talks about dynamics of personal knowledge system. Now I spoke about this in the class. I think with this I can conclude. Go to page number 88. Personal knowledge system is given in the form of a small chart. Stands takes you to the tools. Stands takes you to the tools and tools take you to experience. It's guidance. Stands takes you to the tools and tools to the experience. After the experience, it informs me through the tools which I took. Now, personal knowledge system is equal to STE. That's it. You need to understand. Okay. Now this is something we need to, now I take it on the spiral as a metaphor. Go to page number 89. The spiral is a formation that starts in a large, small circular movement at the base and gets smaller and bigger, smaller or bigger in diameter as it rises. I can have a spiral like this. Can you see me? A spiral that goes like this, like this, like this, like this, and becomes a point like this. अभी दिवाली आ है, दिवाली में छोटा सा एक there's a small that rocket cracker is there, you know, उसका छोटा सा small डब्बा है, you light it and it will go and then that's an upward spiral. So spiral can be upward, or I can have a spiral that's coming downward. Okay, downward. Now the spiral has been used as a form of comparison metaphor. The spiral may zoom upwards or collapse downwards. The symbolism of the spiral is used to describe the rapidity with which any event either accelerates or decelerates to create either a sustaining abundance or collapse. In integrative thinking, it tells you if you're in an upward spiral, it means you're learning faster integrative thinking. And the circle at the bottom is small, it becomes smaller and smaller as it goes. That means what? The cycle of learning, the time is reduced because you're willing to learn. Okay, if the spiral is going up, it means you're in line with your goal. It is multiple hypotheses. If the spiral is coming down, it means it's a single hypothesis. You're dooming yourself. This is what it is talking about. So the upward spiral is called as beneficial spiral. Make a note. And the downward spiral is called as detrimental. It is destructive in nature. It makes you lose your skill. It makes you lose everything about yourself and you find yourself absolutely nowhere. Because you're rigid. People are having rigid personalities. People don't want to learn. People have got resignation towards certain people. People are closed minds. They go to mental spiral. People are having open mind, willing to learn. They are open to experiences. Out of box they think. They are the ones who are experience a beneficial spiral. Right? So now, the page number 1991 is giving you the three aspects of this with respect to Michael Leachin. Okay, the one which we discuss about AIC advantage, first chapter. The three things: the stance, the tools, and the experience that he went through. Take cases. So I'm not explaining that to you. So with this, I'm controlling mapping the mind, second chapter, and then now we can go to the small example I've given at the end of the chapter, page number 92. Page number 92. You decide to go to an amusement park with your family. It is accessible by road and by train. You have a family vehicle. You sit with your family members and discuss saliences. Underline the salience. As I'm telling, it's a case study in which I've shown you how the theory is put into a scene in a practice of an ordinary event. Okay? If we go by road, we'll be together, have privacy, and could halt wherever we wish to. On the way, we could be ourselves. One salience is what I go in by road. But then there could be traffic, petrol is expensive, and what if the car breaks down? If we go by train, then we reach faster, it's cheaper, the chances of delay is less. But then trains are crowded, we may not be together. We certainly not privacy. We certainly not feel of privacy, and we will be out of charge. After discussing, you decide to go by car. You have taken a stance. Now onwards, you stop thinking about train travel, and your focus will be on all things to do with road travel only. When to leave, which route to take, where to fill the petrol, what snacks to carry, etc. You would certainly not think about which train would take us there, would the trains be crowded, etc. That thought is gone now. You decided the tools. Underline the word tools. Now you actually go to the amusement park by your family car. You're going to experience which is governed by your stance and the tools you're employing. All three together creates a personal knowledge system for you. This is a good example to know what. So take the example of your exams. Okay. Now stance. I will write this integrative management paper on the last day of the exam. What is the last date of the exam given? On that day, I'll write it down. Suppose you book the AppTech for that. Book किया, stamps लिया, tools क्या है? You stop thinking about Integrative Manager till the one but last day for studying. On that day you go and you write the paper. And God forbid that day your experiences, you've written all the answers and the whole computer hangs. It happens sometimes. Something goes wrong. So what does the personal knowledge system tell you? It tells you, look, who are you to push till the end? And होता है एक बार हुआ तो क्या हुआ ऐसा बोल के you say. It simply tells you why did you do it. But many of you will not listen. You will not correct yourself next time. You repeat the same thing because we are creatures of habit. Keeping it to the last day, getting into a risk and getting into trouble, that experience should tell you what tools did I employ. The tool was I said nothing doing. Let me do only in the last day. ऐसा करके तुमने think किया. What made you think? Because too much of overconfidence. Now, you have to ask yourself a question. Should I need to do overconfidence? This personality issue. अभी overconfidence कैसा आता है? Because you've got 3 views about the world and 3 views about yourself. We're going to be talking in the next chapter. Now, this, if your view changes, your stance changes, अरे यार I made a mistake, I shouldn't have done this. सुधर गया ना, तो तुमको नया stance मिलेगा, नया tools मिलेगा, नया experience मिलेगा. And you may not land up in the last day, you may do it earlier. This is how the whole thing operates. Okay? So I've covered 2 chapters today with the type of situation into which I am. And very strange to say, I'm feeling energetic now. At the end of the day, I was little tired, now I'm feeling energetic. I don't know why, but I feel good. Okay? It's something amazing. Deepak is saying, thank you, sir, for this subject is really good for self-improvement. You want to come to self-improvement, Deepak, get in touch with me. Okay? All of you need to go through training because training is the only thing that makes things happen. ऐसे नहीं होता है. Shweta says, thanks a lot, sir. Thank you, Shweta. Good night. Any questions anybody has, can ask. Otherwise, I just talk off for the time. It's about 9:25, almost 9:30, closing time. 2 chapters to cover. Another 3 chapters are there, which I'm doing in the SVC. Let me wish all of you happy Diwali in advance, Sal Mubarak, etc., 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 and all the best. Take good care of yourself. I love you. Okay? ये दीपक सर का डायलॉग है.